When I say there is nothing special about Black Clover, I mean there is absolutely nothing special about Black Clover. It is the most standard, regular, typical shounen ever.
This should remind me of Joe, that's what I'm saying.
It's a story about a loud orphan child who is working really hard towards the dream of becoming the Hokage King of the Pirates #1 hero in the distant future. He joins a ragtag team of misfits. Together, they go through many challenges and learn the importance of teamwork, friendship, and never giving up. I mean really, it doesn't get more formulaic than this. It's almost too formulaic. Now this is the sort of classic among classics that makes you think, now this is Shonen Jump manga, is a quote from Honaka Akimoto, who is a Japanese idol part of the group Team Sachi. Make sure you write that one down for trivia night. But she makes a good point. Black Clover is distinctly normal on purpose. It's safe, familiar, comfortable. It's exactly what you'd expect from shonen stories. Black Clover never tried to revolutionize the scene or add a new twist that completely changes the flavor of the genre. Instead of leaning into something that makes it unique, it perfects what makes it normal, and every aspect of the show works towards this goal. I am a major fan of early Black Clover when Asta was loud and annoying. It perfectly exemplifies the shonen formula. While later sections also do a good job, it gets a lot more murky as the plot becomes more complex. The earlier sections are just a lot more clear-cut. There are a couple of main themes that I think Black Clover does almost perfectly, and are seamlessly integrated into the plot and the world as a whole. The first of which being, the world of Black Clover can be quite deceiving. It's a world where magic is everything. From that statement in a vacuum, you would think that anyone would be able to achieve great things as long as they can use powerful magic. A world where everyone is equal under the sky and blue, in the name of magic. Which is all technically true, but the reality is a lot more painted black. The amount of mana you have is determined at birth and largely dependent on lineage, with nobles having the most and peasants having the least. Those in the lower classes have less potential for growth. In other words, less talent. The class you're born in is the class you stay in, with very little exception. There is virtually no way to climb the ladder. The statement magic is everything, which sounds like it's supposed to encourage inclusivity, resulted in segregation and discrimination. It turned into a system that grades your worth as a person based solely on the talent you were born with. And in this world where magic is everything, there is only one way to be talentless: to not have magic at all. Asta has no latent ability, no OP level 2 cheat skill, he's not even average height. It is literally impossible to be less talented than Asta. He does have anti-magic, but that more or less evens the playing field. It doesn't inherently offer an advantage. Asta is tackling a system built around talent with nothing but his hard work and effort to stand on. He's not some mystical chosen one or from a blessed bloodline or a literal alien. He's a nobody among nobodies that worked his way up. Asta is the very embodiment of hard work against a system that highly values natural talent. And so, Asta's dreams of grandeur to become the Wizard King, the strongest man in the country, is the purest form of hard work versus natural talent. If there's one thing I know about Asta, it's that the guy just does not give up. You hit him, he's back. You smack him through the wall. If the big sword isn't working, use the small sword. If nothing is working, just jump in a portal and punch the guy in the face. Oh nah, that boy is reckless. He will keep trying something else until something works. No matter what, he absolutely will not admit that he cannot win. He's persistent, really persistent. But he's not like this for no reason. He understands better than anyone how overwhelmingly powerful magic is. He doesn't have the luxury of giving up if he ever wants to become the Wizard King. To compete with the strongest forms of magic, he has to try every method he has access to. If 1 to 10 isn't working, then maybe try 1 to 20, or maybe even A to Z. It's only through delusional levels of persistence that he can continue to claw his way closer and closer to his goal. The drive to overcome any obstacle by any means necessary is the only way for someone like him to achieve a goal like the Wizard King. That's why he'll never give up. The teamwork in Black Clover is actually teamwork. It's not just a plot device to kill the antagonist at the last second because Broly was kicking everyone's ass and there's only 5 minutes left in the movie. There is genuine synergy between the characters. They make up for each other's shortcomings and amplify each other's strengths. Noelle has large reserves of mana but can't control the direction of her magic. Asta doesn't have a wide enough range to defend all the villages, so Noelle uses strong defensive barrier magic because it defends the villages and doesn't have to move, and Asta can focus on offense. Gauche? Yeah, Gauche. Gauche can create copies of himself, but he can't do damage to the enemy. Asta's attack was the only one that worked, but the enemy regenerates faster than Asta can hurt him. Instead of making copies of himself, Gauche makes copies of Asta. These are technically examples of the power of friendship, but they're also very logical solutions to their respective problem. Multiple people that were ineffective individually come together to achieve their objective. That is what the power of friendship should look like. And there you have it, 3 core themes: hard work, persistence, and teamwork. Everything is operating to make them happen with Asta at the center. But what if none of it works? What if everything crumbles before a single insurmountable threat? What if you're faced with Veto, the Despair? Last name Despair, middle name The. God damn, that's so raw. He completely outclassed Asta in speed and power. All his hard work shattered in an instant. No worries, bud, just add ice. No matter what Asta tried, no matter what anyone tried, they couldn't get any closer to beating him. No amount of persistence yielded any progress. And in a final act of resistance, an unlikely combination is born, with Asta as the beatstick, Vanessa as the mobility, and Finral as the black catcher. They stand as the final line of defense in the greatest display of teamwork. A team significantly stronger than the sum of its parts, and actually able to compete with a much stronger enemy. With unshakable trust in each other, they plunge into battle. One mistake would cost the lives of everyone in the cave. And finally, Veto started showing cracks. They were doing damage. They were making progress. Maybe the power of friendship was the solution all along. But even that was not enough. The everlasting shine of hope was starting to fade. Maybe this time, they really couldn't win. If it wasn't for one man and one saying. I'd like to start by saying, this is terrible advice. By definition, it is impossible to surpass your limits. But I can't even hate. The man follows his own advice. Right here, right now, he surpassed his limits. In the beginning, I mentioned that the amount of mana you have is simply talent, but what I didn't mention was that the magic system is built around effort and drive. Although one's mana capacity dictates the strength of spell one can use, the way you learn new spells has 2 conditions. The main one being, as the user continues to use magic and grows in strength, a Rakugaki page is filled and new spells are etched into the grimoire. The second condition is a heightened sense of emotion or strong resolve. The harder you work and the more you feel driven to improve or protect, the more you will surpass your limits. Surpass your limits is not just a cool phrase from a cool character. It's not just an excuse for cool scenes. It's a mechanism built into the world. Anybody that works hard enough and wants it bad enough can surpass their limits. That's what makes it the best, worst, and only advice that Yami has to give. God, he is so cool. Hard work versus natural talent, never give up, the power of friendship, and surpassing your limits. There's nothing here that we haven't seen before. But all 4 of those themes are perfectly integrated into the plot, world, and characters. Black Clover mastered the aspects that we've come to expect, and became one of the most refined and consistent shounen stories. Like I said, Black Clover is nothing special, but that's its greatest strength. The perfect shounen formula. Pretty good. 4 out of 10.